everybody. I hope that you are having a lovely day. So I just want to apologize first of all. I don't know if you can hear in the background. I have some laundry going. I'm really sorry about that. Again, I have to do it at some point. Oh, I have people. Okay, so let me get out my chat. And I just wanted to show you guys, I'm going to be doing this page today from Mythomorphia. So just give me one moment. I'm going to get my chat out. I'm sorry about that. Now, today, the background, I'm doing another background toot. Good morning, I have Stacy here and Crystal here. Alright, I think that pop-up chat might be working, but let me get out the big one too. Hello, Rebecca. So today I'm going to be doing a slightly longer video, and as you can see, I've already started working on this page. So this is from the beautiful book by Kerby Rosanes. Here's his name, and it's called Mythomorphia. I love this book. I've already done a couple of pages here. I'll show you the other pages I've done. So here's one page. And where's the other page? It's over here. Boop, boop, boop. Hello, hello. Okay, so there's the turtle page. So we're going to work on this page today. So what I've already done is in Prismacolor colored pencil. Hola, Sandra. I have already gone through and done some colored pencil work. It's not finished yet. You can see like there are areas where I just haven't gotten to it, or it's not quite fleshed out yet. But I think it's good enough for this tutorial just to get us started. And I've also gone ahead and with a Tombow, here's the marker that I use, this Tombow brush marker. Well, I am so happy to have you guys with me. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting myself. We have Night Fear and Stacy, and they are all so sweet. Thank you guys for joining me today. Hi, my little sister is Evelyn here. Okay, so I have covered most of the background just to save us some time for the video. I mean, you guys don't need to watch me marker a whole background. But I'm going to marker some of this background just to show you how I get in the little nooks and crannies with my brush marker from Tombow. This marker was awesome. You can see it gives, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it gives a really nice even finish. I only had to do like 2 coats to really get this nice black color. So really, really enjoyed working with this marker. So let me get this chat up and running. And then we will get started. So what I'm also going to be using today, besides the brush marker, is a Prismacolor white pencil. So these are the 2 tools that we're going to be using today. Oh, wait, it's upside down. Sorry, guys. Okay. Well, anyway, you get the drift. Those are my tools. They're just going to keep rolling. But, okay. Alright guys, so I'm really excited. So this is our first, I've been doing a lot of background tutorials. This is my first ever marker, mixed media type tutorial. So I hope that you enjoy it. Yes, Stacy, I only have one sister, and it is Emily/Evelyn. And she is so sweet and kind and always gives me very, very useful, usually paper crafting type art supplies, and I'm always grateful for her. She has a unique vantage point because she makes these books. Here, I'll show you guys. She makes these really beautiful, like this is my little sketchbook that I'm working in lately. So she makes these, she hand bound this book for me. So she's a very talented little lady, and I love her, and she always has some pretty cool ideas for what supplies are hot and on the trend, I guess. So I take her hints a lot. Let's see, YouTube. Alright guys, I've only done this a couple of times, so I'm really sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to get my chat on my computer while I am live streaming on my phone. And I think... Okay, so I think I go to the... Yeah, I found it. Alright, perfect. Alright guys, yes, I'm very lucky to have my little sister. And my mom is also awesome. Shout out to Mom. Alright guys, even though she, I don't know if she watches. Okay, so I'm gonna start out. I got the chat up and running. And so now I can pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just gonna start, and I use the brush tip. Now I rotated the book so it's sort of at an angle for me. And now just filling in really gently. This is a very meditative, very slow process. That's why I didn't film all of it, because it would have taken forever. But that's okay. I figured I just left you this little part of the wing, which is the most complicated and difficult part. And I figured I would leave that part and show you guys how I fill it in with marker. So I would just go and do small little short strokes. Luckily the paper in this book in particular can really hold up to this marker. There was absolutely no bleed through on the other side. I can show you that later, guys, when we're done. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I love this book, and I've been meaning to do some more backgrounds in it for you, so I thought today, why not? I've been prepping this page for a little while and drawing on it and getting it ready. Alright, Emmy, I hope you have a wonderful day at work. Call me later if you need a ride home. Okay, sorry guys, talking to my little sister. Emmy. Okay, I call her Emmy. That's her childhood nickname, so that's what I call her. So everybody can call her Emmy too, and I'm sure that she might be annoyed, but who cares? It's really cute. Sorry, Emmy. Okay, anyway, that's what siblings are for, right? Anyway, guys, so I'm just filling in this beautiful page with marker, just getting it all filled in, and sometimes you have to go over it again, so I let it dry a little bit, so I'll just wait a beat and then come back in. So what you can do is you can go to other areas, so you see me jumping around, that's totally fine. Pretty normal for me anyway. You guys know at this point, I'm sure, that I'm all over the place with my coloring pages and my drawings. And that's okay too. However you're most comfortable working, that's just the way that you should do it. Alright. So if anybody has any questions... Oh, good morning, Dollar Diva. I love your channel. Thank you for coming. Alright, we got some famous people in the house. I'm just teasing. I have no idea, actually. It's so cool, though, that sometimes I see my favorite channels that I watch come and pop in and check out my channel, too. Alright, so, yep, I'm just filling in for everybody that's just stopping in. I'm filling in the background of this Mythomorphia page by Kerby Rosanes, and getting it ready for a smoky Prismacolor colored pencil background. So this marker base is really nice because it really lets the subject matter pop out from the background, and also gives it a really, really dramatic look because it's all of these bright colors against black. So a very popular coloring book look. I am using this Tombow brush marker. It's the black one. It's N15. My wonderful boyfriend got me a set of markers for Christmas as well. Excuse me. So I've been just using those and playing with them. I am not really a marker pro. I am actually very new to markers, but I'm finding that I love them. Probably because I'm a painter, so I already think in blocks of color. So markers are kind of like a perfect quick medium for me to get things going. So I'm going to start trying to use them more and more often in my coloring books. So you will see some of these backgrounds will contain marker. I just think it's fun to mix media and try new things, so why not? But don't worry guys, I still will do pure colored pencil backgrounds as well. So it all just depends on my mood, really. No, the marker is not bleeding through. Hello, Antoinette. Nice to see you here in the live chat. Here, I'll show you guys the next page. So it's completely, even though I use several different layers, and sometimes I go over it kind of repeatedly. Here, I'm going to zoom in as well so you guys can get a better sense of how the marker is reacting to this paper. Oh yes, Antoinette, I'm glad that I got your name right. I try not to butcher people's names, and if I don't feel comfortable pronouncing them, then I usually just avoid it. Oh, that's the truth. So yeah. But I did take, I know a little tiny bit of French, so I know a little bit about pronouncing French names. So I'm just going through, and this doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be going in with Prismacolor, so I can always use my black pencil later. I'm also going to be making the background very smoky, so I may even cover some of the colored pencil that's already down with some white and kind of like overlap the two, the background and the foreground, and kind of mesh them together. So this will be a really fun experiment. I've never actually tried this before, but I've always wanted to try this type of background, and I thought, why not try it with you guys? So I just accidentally went over the lines. That's no big deal. Guys, you know, we take the coloring books as just like a guide, right? So we can do whatever we want. So I just kind of extended that up and made it look intentional. So if you make a mistake, just try and think of a creative way to solve the problem that you just made for yourself. And sometimes it's fun to work that way. If you're a little messy at first, you have to kind of think of ways to help yourself later. Okay, so I am nearing finishing the demo for the black background for the marker, and hopefully this doesn't take too much longer. So I'm just going to touch up areas that I see you can kind of tell are not quite black yet, and I leave the areas that look okay. There's no need to saturate the paper with ink. So I'm trying to be kind of selective. And like I said, keep in mind, you know, you can always go over this with pencil. We're just trying to get a nice solid base of marker down on the paper, but I think it looks rather good. Sorry guys, if I forget to move the camera, just give me a holler and tell me that I need to move it. I sometimes forget that. It's so hard to... because once I get going with coloring, I kind of concentrate and I forget where. Oh, that's great, Dollar Diva. She says that she's always problem solving in her coloring pages. I think that's a great way to color. Okay, so now I'm going to pull back, and that way you guys can see what we've got so far. So I have this coloring page, which I have finished most of the colored pencil for the bird, but not all of it, but it's good enough for what we want to do. So now I want to introduce, I want like some smoke around these flamey wings, and maybe some smoke. These elements sort of look like they could almost be on fire. I don't know if you can see this. So I kind of colored them that way, so that way it kind of brings out that element more. Like right here kind of looks like kind of flamey. So what I'm going to do, really fun, is you know, with very little effort, right? So this is, now I've used the Tombow marker for the background. Now I'm going to go in with my Prismacolor white, and I don't have a very sharp point, but I'll probably sharpen this soon because I'm getting close to the wood there, you can see. So what I'm going to do is, with this blunt tip, and if you have a sharp tip, that's okay, just use the side of your pencil. But what you want to do is just in small circular patterns, just go ahead and let me zoom in so that way you guys get a really good view. Okay, so you can see this isn't perfect black, but that's okay because we're going over it with the white, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. It'll all look pretty cool in the end. We can always touch up with pencil. But what I'm trying to do is just create the effect of like smoke coming out of these flamey wings. And I'm just achieving that with circular, really soft layers that I build up. There's no need to rush this bit. You can take your time. And then later on, at the end, I think what I'd like to do is with some white gel pen, kind of create like sparks around these flamey wings too, and kind of really make them feel like they have a lot of energy coming off of them. Stacy, that's a great question. So I have Stacy here in the chat, and she asked, Laura, do you use a fixative once you're finished with your pages? And if yes, what is your favorite brand? And then I'm gonna try and let you work and not interrupt you so much. Hey, you know what, you guys, I'm here for a live chat. This is an extended session. I'm not doing a half-hour session like usual, and that is because I want to interact with you and answer your questions. So that's great that you're asking them. Let me go grab my fixative and I'll be right back. So guys, I do sometimes use fixative on my work, but to be quite honest with you, normally I save my fixative for, thank you ladies, I save my fixative for my finished final original art drawings, because I do a lot of fine art, and a lot of that work is stuff that I'm trying to preserve for future, you know, maybe selling it or framing it, keeping it for myself, I don't know. But for my fine art, I tend to work on archival paper with archival materials, and I like to spray fix or like do some sort of varnish over my work when I'm done. As far as coloring pages go, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't use any fixative on my work because I take a photo once I'm done, and I usually take video if there's glitter. And then I let my pages go. I let them naturally degrade. I want to see how the material reacts over time, so it's an experiment for me. I don't feel like my coloring pages are my own finished artwork. They're a collaboration between me and the illustrator, and I'm not allowed to sell them. So I tend to give them away sometimes if they're nice pieces. Otherwise, they just collect in my in my books. And I love them, and I love looking at them. So, and I don't mind that they get a little smudgy, or, you know, maybe if I use non-archival light fast materials, then maybe they might fade over time. But since these pages are, I use coloring as a different thing for some people. And I'm sorry I'm going into a large spiel about this, but basically, My coloring pages are a moment for me to express myself creatively, to try new things, to experiment with media that I haven't mixed together before and see what happens. So these pages are really truly an experiment more than anything else. So that's why I don't really feel the need to put workable fixative on my work. I do have it, and I'm going to show it to you. This is the brand that I prefer, the stuff that I use all the time. It's fairly inexpensive. It's very, very available for me. I can get it at a local art shop. I can also get it on Amazon for fairly cheap. So that's the brand that I like. I have used many others, and they're all pretty comparable. It just matters sort of like what I have available at the time. But I do use that brand quite often, so I can recommend it. It does, I have had work for over 20 years now hold up. Even charcoal drawings hold up with that fixative. So I know that it's great stuff, and I trust it. I used to use it when I was in high school a long time ago, and yes, I am really old. I know I don't sound old, but I am pretty old. Yeah, so that's great. So that's what you use too. So, you know, you guys, I think use whatever is handy and available to you. It all depends on really what you're planning on doing with the finished product when you're done. Like, I plan on using some of my coloring book pages as like wrapping paper for birthday gifts and stuff like that. So you don't really feel the need to use workable fixative because it'll probably just get tossed in the bin. You know how wrapping paper, I mean, maybe some people will recognize that it's a coloring book page and maybe they won't throw it away, but I'm not really that worried about it. Like I said, I just use my pages as like fun, playful exercises and activities, and I just really, really enjoy coloring. I like the process. I'm not really super worried about the finished result, and that's why probably my mantra is nothing has to be perfect. Like, it really doesn't, because it's really all about the fun of it for me. But everybody colors for different reasons. If you're coloring because you want to frame your work and you love, you know, having a finished piece that you can hand out, you know, to people as gifts, or you, you know, maybe you want to give it to your grandkids or whatever, the final book, then yes, I would definitely recommend putting workable fixative on your stuff, because especially Prismacolor is very smudgy. I love that when I'm going to work with it and I'm blending, but then when I'm done and I finish the piece at the end, it definitely will move. The color will move on the page, especially if you keep handling the book very often. So yeah, I would recommend it if that's, it all depends on what you're going for. But and I don't mean to like belittle my coloring. I love coloring, so I don't mean to sound, but it is really like just playtime for me. I love just like fooling around and having a grand old time and not really worrying about if it's gonna last forever. I'm gonna snap a photo when I'm done, and if it lasts a long, long time, then that's awesome. But if not, hey, I got a picture and I'm good. I'm moving on. So, yeah, I have, I use that workable fixative. I don't use a final fixative. I do use different varnishes for different other projects. Like for acrylic, I'll use varnishes, and I'll use all sorts of different varnishes depending on what I'd like the final result of the finished piece to look like. So that all is, but yeah, as far as like my drawings go, I just use that workable fixative, and then if sometimes I want to like work over the workable fixative when I'm done, then I give it a final spray, and that just seals everything together. And then usually I have, here, I'll show you guys. So let me pull out again. Oop, not zoom in. And then I have a flat file here where I keep all my old work. This is from high school and from college, and I have my book proofs in this flat file. So I have a flat file where I keep all of my work when I'm done with it. So it generally does not get really, let's see, where were we? Here we were. It really does not get jostled around or moved around too much once it goes in the flat file. It's pretty much at home where it's going to live for probably a long time. So I tend to be very gentle with my artwork, so that also helps, and probably the reason I don't fuss too much about fixative. Thank you. Alright, hey! Katrine, alright, hey! I've been watching Katrine's stuff since I started coloring back in July of 2017. If you guys have not seen her stuff, she's so sweet and she has such awesome coloring. She has a totally different color palette than me, but I love watching her work and I've learned so much from her. The gel pen techniques that I use, I learned from Katrine when I first started coloring. So yeah, if you guys have not heard of her, her YouTube is always coloring and her Instagram is always coloring, and I'll post that link in the description below when the live feed is over. So if you guys miss it in the or actually, Katrine, I think, could you post it in the chat? I don't know if you can, but if you can, then you can. And I'm super happy if you guys want to share your work. If you guys want to post in the chat also links to what you're working on. I want to see that kind of stuff because I'm always curious. And you know, like I can tailor my my lessons and my tutorials to certain things if I see you guys are struggling with a certain aspect of your work. Oh, great. So Katrine's going to post a link. And then you guys can go check her out. Oh, she's so sweet. And she posts a lot of live streams and color alongs, just like I do. So if you like my channel, you'll love her stuff. Oh, and I think she's been coloring for much longer too. Alright, so we've got some smoky smoke going on. And I'm just using circular strokes and just kind of picking out different spots. And I'm fairly highly zoomed in here, so you'll see when we pull out. This actually has a really cool effect. You can go in and burnish, but depending on how it looks when I am all set and done, I may not burnish. So it all just depends if you can use the grain of the paper to your advantage. I'm going to take a drink of my green tea. Alright. So, okay, so, let's see. I don't see your link, Katrine. Is it not working? I highly recommend it. Alright, so now I'm just kind of going through and picking out where I want my highlights to be, and now keeping in mind that the fire is going to be our light source, right? Because it's fire, and so that makes sense. So let's go ahead and start shading these little cloudy poofs now with the light source direction in mind. So I'm going to now go ahead and pick out, since the light is here, I'm picking out the bottom of the little puffy, smoky, cloudy shapey thingies, because you know that's a technical term. And then we're gonna kind of feather it out up, and it just gives this really cool effect. So now I'm gonna, okay, so here's another bit so you can see. Oh wait, alright, yeah, Antoinette has a vote for Katrine too, so yeah, definitely go check her out. Okay, so we have a flame here, we have a smoky kind of thing here. I'm gonna define the bottom of this little shape here, just give another little smoky shape, and then just kind of feather it on up. Again, just kind of giving like half moon shapes here. And again, just keeping in mind where the flame is, and then tailoring your lighting for that situation. So like it's going to be different over here. Alright. Yay, we are all chatting it up. I love it. Okay. So we've got another, so see on this little smoky thing that's trailing up from that one here, maybe the light source is coming from there, so it is now on the side of this little smoke thing, tendril or whatever it is. So this is the way that we can create realistic lighting for our little smoky background for our flaming phoenix. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Everybody's so sweet. What a lovely day to be streaming on YouTube. So we've got all these little smoky bits here. I'm just gonna keep going. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to shout them out in the chat, and I will try to answer them as best I can right here now for you. Okay, that's excellent. If you guys are learning about light source, so you can see how this is really starting to take shape and really look kind of smoky and flamey. So when I finish out these flames, these blue flames, it's going to look even better. Oh, it's going to look so good. So now I'm going to show you how, now that I have some of the smoke, I'm going to blend out some of it and leave some of it. And then you guys can decide what you think you want to do. So I'm going to grab my colorless blender from my case. Where is it? That's a watercolor. Here it is, my colorless blender, which I don't use very often. Usually I blend with white, but because, you know, it is white, I guess. I'm blending with the colorless. Oh, thank you guys. Everybody is so sweet. Antoinette, so what I do is, let me show you guys, let's talk more about light source before I get started with that blending. So here we go. Since these smoky bits have the flame below them, I lit them from below. Since the flame is here, I lit them with the light being on the nearest side to the flame. So if I'm doing a smoke thing here, then I'm going to again do it on the side. If I'm over here, right, on the other side, so the flame's on this side, so then I'm going to light it with the brightest area being on the left and the darkest area being on the right, because it's the farthest from the flame. So what you want to do, this is a tricky page, and this is why I wanted to cover it in real time for you so I could really explain it, is you really want to take into account where the flame is on your particular billowy smoky bit, and then apply that knowledge to where your lighting is on your actual smoke. So I hope that makes sense. And if not, yeah, awesome. All right, so everybody get it, got it. Okay, my English. Woo. All right, we're having fun today though. All right, so now let's go in with the colorless blender. So I have here the Prismacolor 1077 colorless. This is just the wax without any. Oh, I think I need to clean this. I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper and scribble until it's clean. Yeah, it's alright. Cool. So now I'm going to take this colorless blender, and again, in circular patterns, just go ahead and work in the colored pencil into the grain of the paper. And actually, as I'm doing this, I really love the way it looks. So let me zoom in just so that you guys can really get a sense of how it changes the way that the pencil looks on the paper. So I said that I might varnish, but I might have changed my mind. Let's see. Although some of it unburnished, so I might do some of it burnished and some of it not. And I tend to do that a lot with my work. Where areas where it needs smoothing, I smooth it. Areas where it seems okay, like in here, I kind of like the way it looks a little fluffy and not perfect. That kind of suits the cloudy, billowy, smoky kind of look really well. You know, it seems like as long as you let the black marker really set well, it does not pick up any of the black, and it is just basically blending the white pencil into almost as if the paper was blank, if that makes sense. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to show you guys in just a little bit of time how to create glowy effects on this black marker paper as well. Oh, sorry, I'm out of frame. So I am just going to finish up. Just kind of picking where I want it. But like some of it, like that kind of has like a cool texture, almost like a smoky texture. I kind of want to leave that. So anywhere where I don't like it, I'll blend it. And anywhere where I do like it, like over here, kind of like that look too. Yep, I use the same exact technique, Antoinette. It's like, it's almost like, pretend like the marker, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just knocked something. I'm such a klutz, guys, I really am. I just use the blender over the marker, just as if there was no marker on the paper. So now I'm going to go ahead, and I want this area of the drawing, like, so I have like this smoke, and so I'm going to continue that, but I think I've demonstrated enough for you guys to kind of get the technique down, right? Like, you guys, you don't need me to do the whole page. So I'm going to do that on the other wings and have all this smoke coming up from the wings. I think that'll be really cool. But for this center area where the bird is, like where his face is, I kind of want to start right in this place where his mouth is and kind of like give him some emotive like glowiness. So I have here PC 1003, that Spanish orange, really cool color. I love this color. So I am just sort of gently going in circular motions again, so really soft layers. We're going to build up the layers pretty slowly over this, but it's not going to take up that much space, and it will have such a cool effect. So you can just see here how I'm just sort of working. I haven't drawn out a circle. I'm not going to try and make it perfect. Again, I'm just sort of just shaping my pencil as I go, kind of extending it out and making the half circle. So we're gonna make this little birdie glow on this black markered paper. It's gonna be so cool. I hope so anyway. So now that I'm starting to like the shape, the general shape of how this is coming together, right? Like now I feel like it's starting to feel like a natural glowy shape. So first I work on the shape, trying to get that right. And once I get that right, now I'm kind of going through and just refining the edge there, like so. Now throwing a layer very lightly right up against the figure. And now what's cool is you can use these background techniques on fiery dragon pages, on any kind of like you could do it on a campfire, you know, so use the glow around the campfire and then use the smoke above the fire. So you can use these techniques on so many other pages besides this page. That's why I thought it'd be a fun page to play with and do a background tutorial on, just because it will really, I think, transfer to so many other subjects. Okay, so I'm starting to really dig that shape. Love it. I'm switching over now to a brighter color. How about we go with this here, canary yellow. This is, I think, from the original set that I'm used to using. Love this color. It's PC 916. Now, just against the edges of the phoenix here, just again, real soft. Now, the effect that I want at the end is a very subtle glow, so I am not pressing hard. You can build up many, many, many layers and make it really bright if you want. I feel no need to make it super bright. I just want to kind of give the effect that there's like heat coming off of this bird's head. Like he's like really, really like energetic. Like he's got like so much energy that it's just like glowing off of him. That's kind of the effect. But I don't want it to be overwhelming the actual figure. And like all of the, I put a lot of different colors in the head, so it draws attention to the head. And that's my focal point in the drawing. So because I really want to focus on that, I don't want it to lose too much contrast. So I still want the background to feel black or dark, but I also don't want it to be too stark either. So that's why I'm doing this. It's kind of like a very fine balancing act between losing all your contrast and making it seem glowy. And there's a really cool trick at the very end, which I will do, and I will show you a sampling of that as well, so that we really get a sense of how the finished drawing will look when it's done. Alright, so now just to keep taking that a step further, let's bring in another brighter color. Sorry, that's in my pencil roll. Let me go get that. Alright, now I'm switching over to PC 915 Lemon Yellow. This is an even brighter yellow. Now I could have just pressed harder with that yellow, however I actually want to reserve the tooth of the paper and do, here, let me just zoom in just so that you guys can really see. I want to reserve the tooth of the paper in case I choose to go brighter later, so I choose brighter colors than I actually want and use a lighter touch. And this will give me the same color effect that I think I'm going for, but in case I want it brighter at a later time, I still have some tooth of the paper to go in and brighten this up if I so choose to. So when you're not sure about how you want to handle something, choosing a lighter, so in this case I'm choosing a lighter color because it's on black paper. If you're on white paper, then you want to choose a darker color than the color that you're looking to achieve, and then using a light touch, you will achieve the color that you're looking for. So this is how I choose my colors depending on how I want to preserve the tooth of the paper. It's just sort of something of a sense that you build up over time and really get a good idea of how you want to work. But it also helps if you plan it out a little bit too. So if you just sit back before a coloring session and think about all the steps that you need to take and what you're planning on doing, and then deciding if you need to use this lighter touch technique just in case you want to change your mind later. These sort of pre-coloring moves, if you will, might help you save you some headaches in your coloring work. Yes, Stacy asked if my wholesaler, if her Etsy page has Birdhouse in the title. Yes, it does. It's called Colorful Birdhouse Boutique. And that Etsy page, she is the only reseller of my book. So if you see it being sold at a different shop, she will be opening it up in the Amazon store soon, but it will again be under her name. She's, you know, really actually been super helpful to me with my coloring book. So yeah, if you're looking for my book, you definitely want to buy it from her Etsy shop. And then I will also be opening up my own Etsy shop soon with the PDF version. So if the shipping is too much to bear, or you have a particular paper that you really love, or there's other things, like if you want to print it out on other substrates besides paper, then yeah, you can go ahead and wait. The end of January, I plan to have that all up and ready to go. So let's see, we have another comment from Dollar Diva. She says, I love when we as colorists can show others how to make the coloring pages unique and an expression of art by adding extra accents and effects. Don't be afraid to experiment and jump out of the box. I totally agree. I mean, the reason why we color is because we want to relax or express ourselves or some other reason, but I just love seeing when colorists take the page and make it their own and just go and do whatever their heart's desire. Because in the end, you know, this is what you're working on, and if you don't love it, then you know, then what's the point, right? So go ahead and do whatever you want. Change the pages, make them your own. I think that that's the best way to color. Why not? All right, so you can see that. Let me zoom out here. So you can see how it's starting to really start to glow. Now I'm probably going to layer several more layers of color over this, but just to give you guys a general idea of how that will look. Now I'm going to swap back over here and change from my colored pencils to my gel pens. So let me grab that. Now, I am a big fan of the Uniball Signo white gel pen. Oh, great. Stacy says she found... Okay, excellent. And yes, about making the coloring pages your own. Yes, I really do. I think that that is, you know, part of the fun of coloring. Why not? Anyway, so I'm a big fan of this Uniball Signo white gel pen. I'm going to be using that, but I'm also going to try a different one. I am going to try this Jelly Roll Metallic Gold. I haven't really used this that much. Oh, my laundry is done. Okay, well, I'm going to have to cut this short, but I will do a couple of these little things, and then I need to get my laundry folded. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I guess I underestimated how long it was, or overestimated how long it was going to take. So I'm just going to kind of do little flicks of this guy first. Now this is the gold. And you can see how it kind of looks like sparks. I really enjoyed having everybody here, but I'm really sorry. I totally did not expect my laundry to finish at this point. I thought it would be on for another half hour. But I still feel like we got a lot in on this session, and I think this is enough for you guys to go ahead and take these ideas that I presented and make them your own. So I'm just finishing off this little section here. Alright, I'm glad you guys like it. Everybody says it looks amazing. So I'm going to pull out and show you guys the overall effect when you're done. So I'm going to have a glow here, and all of these wings will have smoke coming off, and maybe some smoke here, and maybe some glowy elements. So I'm going to take this further. I'll probably, you know, finish it off and then show you guys the end result when I'm done. But I hope that you loved this demo and that it was useful to you guys. And if so, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel out. And also, if you're new and you're just poking in for the first time, don't forget to subscribe. I do stuff like this all the time. So, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed this and answering all your questions. So, I hope that you join me for the next live stream, and I hope that you have a wonderful, magical time coloring. Bye.